And welcome back. It's time for this week's Capitol Report with Pat McGuigan of CapitolBeatOK.com. Pat, it was 26 years ago the legislature passed House Bill 1017. This was very big. Obviously, this year's budget shows that public education is still facing a lot of challenges. Your thoughts?
Well, Henry Bellmon, meant well, and he was a governor 2 different times, very unusual personal history. In between, he was a U.S. Senator, kind of a reform Republican. Started out as a Goldwater Republican back in the day. He pushed the Education Reform Act of 1990, was tax increases in order to finance higher teacher pay and smaller classrooms, and a few other interesting potential reforms, including providing a pot of money of incentives for voluntary school consolidation, even then thinking more almost at the district level in their visioning. The agenda was never again, would we have high student-teacher ratios, and never again would we be somewhere at the middle or bottom of the region, let alone nationally near the bottom of the pot in total pay. My thoughts on this are framed not just by 1017, which I was around for the end of, in the beginning of it at my career at the Oklahoman, but it's also framed by Maps for Kids, the local project here in Oklahoma City. 2001 was the largest tax increase at the local level to benefit public education in the history of Oklahoma. And it was so notable even nationally that it garnered a lot of attention that was favorable. Within days of that passing, the attacks on Oklahoma's leadership began all over again, saying that we weren't doing enough for public education. In the wake of that, we had the education lottery. We've had a lot of other proposals over the year designed to increase money. This year, we're aware of a couple of measures being pushed that could result in some more raw resources. We're in the midst of an amazing revenue shortfall, and yet the share of education in the budget is going to rise. It's not going to decline. In the wake of this situation, you would have thought some administrative reforms would take place. They did not. There's pushback on school choice, which empowers parents. They were able to access a lot of money in the rainy day fund, as we discussed last week. We're getting money, tax increases over time, more spending, and very slow, modest reform. It's not enough. Oklahoma's going to have to do better, but when I say that, I don't necessarily mean what the OEA leadership, with all respect, defines as do better.
All right, quickly, other news. Governor Henry was named to lead a bipartisan group that's going to review the state's troubled death penalty process. I know you applauded him for that.
Yes. Quick
expectations.
Very much applaud what he's doing. Andy Lester, an old friend from the Reagan days, is a co-chairman, as well as former appeals court judge Reta Strubhar. They're going to look at the whole process from arrest through conviction and incarceration, and it's kind of close to my heart because I did that in 3 of my books back in the 1980s. We need this, and I hope the moratorium can stay in place on capital punishment until they finish their work.
All right, well, you can read more about these and other topics at CapitolBeatOK.com. For Pat McGuigan, I'm Alex Cameron. Have a great day.